I have a feeling that it's going to be passed with watered down some, as always. But whatever happens, I feel, and I know, I'm sure. You see, it has been for a long time said that a few Negroes wanted this. But I think Washington March on Washington spelled out really whether or not the Negro wants this thing. Of all levels, high, the low, the rich, the poor, learned, the unlearned, they were there. That's to say that we want freedom, and we want it now.
As the purpose of your visit here, so on.
Just a few minutes, Victor. Yeah.
Move in a little closer to the microphone, just a little.
My name is Martin Luther King Sr. of Atlanta, Georgia, co-pastor in the Ebenezer Baptist Church with my son, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. My visit in the city of Los Angeles at this time is to be with our good friend, Dr. Peters, at the Victory Baptist Church on Sunday, and testimonial services in the afternoon. Certainly, we've had no individual or pastor that's been more dedicated and who has worked any closer with us in our struggle than Dr. Peters here in your city. So it's a joy for me to visit with him and his fine people at this time and to visit your fine city again. It's a joy to be here.
Any rallies planned, do you say?
No rallies. I'm just here at the Victory Baptist Church on Sunday, throughout the day.
Reverend King, can you shed some light on the reason that your son has been in a local hotel room Wednesday and has not been willing to meet with his friends?
Simply to say, my son is far overworked. He has been so usurped in the last 6 months, more so than any other time at all. And we have urged upon him to see if he could get some rest somewhere. He's had no vacation. He's tried to take a vacation twice this year and hasn't been able to do it yet. He's right now with a book overdue that he's tried to meet the deadline with the printers that he hasn't been able to do because of other pressing responsibilities. I would imagine he is trying to continue to write on this book, but I know he's desperately tired.
Can you tell me if it has anything to do with a rumor that he is reluctant to make any statement which might be taken as inflammatory because of the present Birmingham situation?
No. I wouldn't think that. I wouldn't think that at all. Now, frankly, let me say to you that although we are co-pastors in the same church, but sometimes I don't get to talk with him in 4 to 5 weeks for any time at all. Just a few minutes and on to the pulpit, and then out he's gone again. So that I can't always know every move he's making. And, well, I didn't know he was in Los Angeles until day before yesterday. So this is the situation. Now, I know he is to be back in Atlanta in the pulpit Sunday with a guest minister who is with us. But now just how long he's in Atlanta, I don't know. Frankly, I do not. His secretary would know more about that than I would. Yeah. So that I'm sure, as I've said, I repeat that being silent a bit is simply because he's just overworked.
Bill?
Not that I know, no. He's just overworked, just tired.
Reverend King, what is the racial situation in Atlanta since Johnson has been elected? The legislation in Atlanta. What is the racial situation now? Is it better?
Well, all right. Well, now, this is the most difficult thing. All I get from Los Angeles is what I read, you know. And you don't always get it correctly, you know, from the news media. But I think Los Angeles is very much like all other. It's all over now everywhere. Just as simple as this. The Negro is simply going to be free now. He's going to be a first-class citizen. And he's not going to take anything less than that. And jails and all that means nothing. That's all over. So that's everywhere now. Just you see, the truth of it is, we have known in the South where we were. You that live in these parts thought you knew where you were, and these folks have been sort of hypocritical with you a little bit maybe. But we know where the lines are there. And now they begin to open up here, and you find that there are many situations here that must be cleared. And there will be. There's no question about that.
Reverend King, would you say then that the fact that you and your son are both in Los Angeles at the same time is merely a matter of coincidence?
Purely coincidence.
And that nothing is planned to step up any racial activities or racial desegregation activities here?
I'm here to be with this minister now. I've said that. My son did not know that I was going to be in Los Angeles until I related to him and asked him. I wouldn't have been here. If my son could not have been in the pulpit in Atlanta, I could not have been here. Our situation is so one of us must always be in the pulpit in Atlanta, although we have a guest minister Sunday, but one of the preachers must be there, because it takes a great deal of maneuvering to carry a church with two pastors in the South would take home pay so little. So no, he doesn't know anything about that. Yes.
About the California situation, sir, bring to mind that a new congressman from California this morning released a survey made in his district which showed a rather alarming, not to say overwhelming, opposition in that area. Most of it was a civil rights bill now before Congress. This sort of thing frightens you. Can you comment on it?
I haven't read it, and I wouldn't like to comment until I had read it and had some knowledge of it. I have not read that. You said it came out this morning?
The congressman expressed the fear that this is a sample of the real depth of the feeling of discrimination. Can you comment on that?
He feels that this is real depth of the feeling of discrimination.
This might be an indication that discrimination goes deeper than some people have suspected.
Well, I would think so. I would think so, yes, because we never knew it was as deep as it is in the northern and eastern areas as we are finding. In fact, I didn't. For instance, I always felt, as a visitor to New York City and New York State and other parts, that, well, you folk got it made, you see, only to find altogether different, you see. I thought the same thing in this city. When I visited here several times, well, I just thought this was the place I ought to be, but for the distance. Yeah.
How do you feel about the fact that his wife at times visited
Well, I happen to live with his mother, you know. And what happened to her concerns me. First, I must be very much concerned about her. And you can be assured at times it's very terrific. For I must take my own worries and then be sure that I'm protecting her in hers. So yes, at times we are very much concerned. And, well, we live under tension all the time. It's terrific where we stand.
Have you ever urged a go slow approach to your son?
Well, it doesn't matter if I did. Unless you cannot
Maybe not know he has to go slow.
in that.
Your son gave an ultimatum or a suggestion to the city of Birmingham about hiring 25 Negro policemen. Do you know what might happen if the city? Do you know his plans if the city does not hire these policemen?
I do not. I have not been in the Birmingham situation at all. Naturally, I am concerned. I have a son pastoring there with 5 grandchildren there. We must always be deeply concerned about what's happening. But now just what his plans and the plans of the Birmingham people, Reverend Selway and others at the moment, I think we're moving forward.
Doctor, you say that you only know what you read as regarding Los Angeles. Are you aware that next to one of our councilmen will only have a greeting to councilmen?
Yes, I've read.
Now, you feel in the group of 15 that it's sufficient, 30 out of 15?
Well, now, I would have to check again your population, and before I would make a statement to be definite, I'd have to look at your population and what have you before I would say. It seems to me this spells progress. Now, I said it seems. Now, tomorrow when I look at it, I might say something else.
Reverend King, what would you say would be the worst evil from your standpoint of segregation in Los Angeles? Where is Los Angeles the most lax or the most backward in a segregation problem?
In Los Angeles?
Yes.
I wouldn't like to comment on that because I haven't kept up close enough with all the activities and what is happening. In fact, I have been in Los Angeles 8 or 10 years. I mean, presently. I've been in Oakland and San Francisco, but Los Angeles, it's been about 8 years maybe since I've been here. So all I gather is what I listen to somebody talking or what I read through the news media. So I think it would be very unkind to say something that I do not know to be exact.
President Kennedy
I'm going to continue until we are.
after that will have no bearing on the plight of the Negro in America.
You mean after whether he's going to continue?
No, saying Congress does not pass it.
All right.
Pass the civil rights bill. What do you think that
Oh, you mean what will action of Negro be? It's just going to be a means of intensifying his efforts. I don't know how much hurting it will be. I don't have the feeling now that these situations will hurt but they may slow up for a little bit. And the drive must be harder and most intensified and all of that. But I don't think any of this is going to discourage the Negro in such a way that he's going to sit down and say, well, we can't do it no more now. We've lost our fight. I don't think that. No. If I'm understanding your question.
That's right.
Yeah.